The Port of Los Angeles. America's front door, a sprawling gateway where the world's ambitions and anxieties converge. Here, the Pacific meets the promise of opportunity, and every sunrise brings a new wave of ships from across the globe. It's where global trade becomes local reality, as thousands of containers are hoisted, sorted, and sent on their way to every corner of the country. Each box holds not just goods, but the hopes of businesses, workers, and families. The Port of Los Angeles is the busiest container port in the Western Hemisphere, a place where the scale of commerce is almost unimaginable. Millions of containers moving in a ceaseless ballet of steel and sweat. Every year, it handles over $311 billion in cargo, more than the GDP of some entire nations. The port pulses with energy day and night, as goods from every continent are unloaded, inspected, and shipped out again. This sprawling city within a city is powered by thousands, longshore workers, truck drivers, crane operators, and logistics experts, each playing a vital role in keeping the flow of goods moving. Warehouse staff and forklift operators work tirelessly behind the scenes, ensuring that every shipment is accounted for and every deadline is met. Their efforts keep store shelves stocked and factories humming. For decades, the port has been a pillar of middle-class jobs and community identity, supporting generations of families and shaping the culture of Southern California's working coast. But now, the relentless rhythm is faltering. The once steady hum of activity is interrupted by uncertainty and delay. The intricate dance of logistics is stumbling, as containers pile up and trucks wait in long lines, unable to move forward. The people who depend on this port, workers, drivers, small business owners, are feeling the pain first, their livelihoods hanging in the balance. The port's crisis isn't just about business. It's about livelihoods, families, and the dreams that ride on every shipment. Each delay ripples out, touching homes and communities far beyond the docks. The economic fabric of Southern California is woven through these docks, connecting local shops, manufacturers, and neighborhoods to the wider world. Now, the front door to America is getting jammed, with ships waiting offshore and goods stuck in limbo, threatening shortages and price hikes for everyone. The consequences reach every consumer, every business owner, and every family that relies on the steady flow of goods, reminding us how interconnected our lives have become. All of it traces back to a trade policy that's turned the global supply chain into a high-stakes gamble, where a single disruption can send shockwaves around the world. The question now, what happens when the music stops at America's busiest port? The answer will shape not just the future of Los Angeles, but the fate of the nation's economy. For thousands of port workers, the last few weeks have been a harsh reality check. The sense of security that once came with steady work has been replaced by uncertainty and anxiety. Conversations that used to be about overtime and weekend shifts are now about survival. How to make ends meet, how to pay the rent, and what the future might hold. The hiring hall, once bustling, is now eerily quiet. Jobs have evaporated. The familiar sounds of laughter, chatter, and the shuffling of boots have faded, replaced by an uneasy silence. The bulletin boards that once overflowed with job postings now sit nearly empty, a stark reminder of how quickly things can change. In late May and early June 2025, available longshore jobs dropped by nearly 50%. The docks, which used to be a hive of activity, now look almost deserted. Fewer ships are coming in, and the ripple effect is being felt everywhere along the waterfront. For every 2 people seeking work, only 1 gets a shift. The odds are grim, and the competition is fierce. Workers who have spent decades on the docks now find themselves waiting in line, hoping their name will be called, but knowing it probably won't be. Over 25 shifts, 1,575 workers lined up, but only 733 jobs were available. A collapse, not a slowdown. The numbers are staggering, and the impact is immediate. Each day, hundreds go home empty-handed, their hopes dashed yet again. Full-timers struggle for hours, part-timers get none. Even the most experienced workers are not immune. The sense of camaraderie is now tinged with desperation, as friends and colleagues compete for the same scarce opportunities. The pain radiates outward. Truck drivers, warehouse staff, and others in the supply chain are all feeling the squeeze. The slowdown at the port means fewer deliveries, less overtime, and more uncertainty for everyone connected to this vital industry. Many truckers now get just 1 or 2 days of work a week. Schedules that were once packed are now filled with empty hours, and the financial strain is mounting. Some are even considering leaving the industry altogether. The port's once constant hum has faded to silence. The clang of containers, the roar of engines, and the shouts of workers have all but disappeared, leaving behind an unsettling calm. The Great Job Vanishing Act is underway, and there's no easy fix. The uncertainty stretches from the docks to the dinner tables of every worker affected, casting a long shadow over the community. The economic fallout is immediate and personal for thousands of families. Every lost shift means another bill unpaid, another tough conversation at home, and another day spent wondering when, or if, things will get better. The jobs are vanishing, and the sense of uncertainty is growing by the day. For thousands of dock workers, truck drivers, and warehouse staff, the once bustling ports have become eerily quiet. The hum of engines and the clatter of containers have faded, replaced by anxious conversations and worried glances. The reason is simple, yet devastating. The ships aren't coming. Where there used to be a steady stream of vessels lining up to unload goods from around the world, now there are only empty lanes and vacant harbors. In May 2025, 17 scheduled cargo ships cancelled their trips to Los Angeles, a sign of deep trouble. Each cancellation means millions of dollars in lost business, and the ripple effects are felt far beyond the docks. The port processed 25% less cargo than forecasted, and 18% less than April. That's not just a statistic. It's a blow to local businesses, truckers, and families who depend on the port's activity for their livelihoods. Only 5 ships a day are arriving, down from the usual 10 to 12. The drop is dramatic, and it's visible in every corner of the port. Cranes stand idle, docks are empty, and the economic engine is stalling. The machinery that once moved non-stop now sits motionless, a stark symbol of the slowdown. The neighboring port of Long Beach faces the same crisis, with vessel cancellations now worse than during the pandemic. The scale of disruption is unprecedented, and the uncertainty is spreading. The port of Oakland is also hurting, with a 15% drop in activity. Fewer ships mean fewer jobs, and the impact is being felt across the entire West Coast. Just months ago, ports were celebrating recovery. Now demand has collapsed. The optimism of the past has given way to anxiety and concern for the future. Retailers are cutting orders for the holiday season, and projections for June remain grim. The slowdown is already showing up on store shelves, with less stock and fewer choices for consumers. The ghost ships passing by carry away hopes for a robust economic season. Each empty vessel is a reminder of lost opportunity and growing uncertainty. Empty docks mean anxious workers and a community on edge. Families are worried about paychecks, and local businesses are bracing for tough times ahead. The crisis is spreading fast, with no sign of relief. From Los Angeles to Oakland, the slowdown is rippling through supply chains, threatening jobs and economic stability. The port's silence is a warning bell for the entire economy, a stark reminder that when the ships stop, so does the heartbeat of global trade. When the port slows, the shockwaves ripple far beyond the docks. Warehouse staff, rail workers, and security guards all see their hours slashed. Local businesses, diners, coffee shops, gas stations lose their main customers as paychecks shrink. Family-owned shops operating on thin margins are pushed to the brink. The economic pain cascades through the region, threatening the foundation of the logistics industry. The port is the sun around which a whole economic solar system orbits. When its light dims, the entire system grows cold. The crisis isn't just about shipping containers, it's about the fabric of community life. The hidden cost of the trade war is the slow erosion of livelihoods across Southern California. The Port of Los Angeles supports a staggering 2.7 million jobs nationwide. That's more than the population of Houston, and it touches every state. These jobs include factory workers, farmers, retail employees, and logistics planners across the country. Locally, the Twin Ports generate over 165,000 jobs and $2.7 billion in state and local taxes. For every 1% drop in cargo, thousands of jobs are lost or put at risk. With cargo down 18-25%, the threat is massive. This isn't just a regional problem, it's a potential national employment crisis. The fate of millions of American jobs now hangs in the balance. The port's slowdown is a live experiment in what happens when a vital economic artery is disrupted. The risk is real and it's playing out in real time. The root cause? President Trump's aggressive tariffs. Tariffs are taxes on imports meant to protect US industries, but the reality is far messier. Recent tariffs, some as high as 145%, created chaos and uncertainty in the global supply chain. Companies cancelled orders and shipments, avoiding the port of Los Angeles to dodge massive new costs. A federal court struck down most tariffs, but legal limbo persists as appeals continue. A temporary 90-day deal with China lowered some tariffs, but it's just a band-aid. Threats of new tariffs on European goods and iPhones add to the instability. Businesses can't plan, and the port is caught in the crossfire. The intended show of strength has paralyzed economic activity instead. The port has become a casualty of a trade war with no clear end. The port of Los Angeles relies on China for about half its business. At Long Beach, it's even higher. Tariffs on Chinese goods hit the port's core, causing cancelled ships and plunging cargo volumes. China retaliated, slamming the door on US exports, especially for California farmers. Brazil and other countries are stepping in, taking over lost US market share. Once customers switch suppliers, they rarely come back. Some companies are rerouting supply chains to Vietnam, India, and Mexico to avoid tariffs. The port is losing business not just today, but possibly for good. This shift began during the first trade war and is accelerating now. Los Angeles risks losing its central role in global trade. The damage could be permanent if the trend continues. Port leaders are sounding the alarm. Gene Soroka, executive director, calls this the worst downturn outside the pandemic. He warns that continued tariffs could devastate the port and its reputation. Once cargo is rerouted, it's hard to win back. Senator Alex Padilla warns of empty shelves, rising prices, and more job losses nationwide. The crisis threatens not just California, but the entire US supply chain. With the holiday shipping season in jeopardy, time is running out for a course correction. The warnings are clear, the port's future and America's economic stability are at stake. This isn't just a California problem, it's a national crisis. The 2.7 million jobs tied to the port are spread across every state. Slowdowns mean delays, shortages, and higher prices for goods everywhere. Tariffs are a tax paid by American consumers, not just foreign companies. Disrupting global supply chains doesn't create jobs overnight. It destroys them quickly. The port's troubles are a warning for the entire US economy. Policy aimed at trade rivals is hurting our own workers and infrastructure. Silent cranes and empty docks tell a story of lost wages and threatened businesses. This is about paychecks, stability, and the system that delivers what we need every day. The risk is real, and the stakes are high for all of us.